Hello everyone. Today in this video, we are going to discuss an important topic of biological psychology for those who are doing preparation for psychology entrances. Today, we are going to talk about the biological basis of hunger, where we will discuss a few things in detail like the roles of brain organs, neurotransmitters and hormones, as well as we will also touch few theories in brief. So you may find multiple questions in psychology entrances from today's topic. I suggest you to attend the entire explanations, and if you have any doubt, write them in your notebook, and after completion of video, let me know your doubt in comment box. I am Arvind Otta. Let's begin. Hunger is a biologically regulated motivational state that drives organism to obtain food in order to maintain energy, balance and survival. This process depends on continuous communication between the gastrointestinal system, endocrine glands, neurotransmitters and a specific region of the brain. The primary brain center involved in hunger regulation is hypothalamus that integrate hormonal, neural and metabolic system related to food intake. It functions as control hub that continuously monitor internal conditions and adjust feeding behavior to maintain physiological balance. And there are three major parts of hypothalamus related to hunger. Number 1, arcuate nucleus. Number 2, lateral hypothalamus. And third, ventromedial hypothalamus. First part of hypothalamus is arcuate nucleus that helps the brain detect what is there in the blood. And this region contains neurons that are directly detecting hormones and nutrients. These neurons detect signals such as ghrelin, leptin, insulin and glucose. As well as we have to understand that two opposing neural functions operates from this particular region. First, they increase hunger and food-seeking behavior when energy is low, while the other suppresses hunger and promote satiety when energy is sufficient. By comparing these incoming chemical signals, the arcuate nucleus determines whether the body is in an energy deficit or surplus. Second part of hypothalamus is lateral hypothalamus that function as a major output center for feeding behavior. So when this part is activated, it increases the motivation to eat as well as stimulate food-seeking behavior. It also sends signal to the brain region that are responsible for motivation and movement. And when those areas will be stimulated that are responsible for motivation and movement, individual will start searching for the food. Individual will start consuming food. And if this area become underactive, then feeding behavior will be reduced even when energy level will be low. Third part of hypothalamus is ventromedial hypothalamus that plays a complementary role by limiting food intake. It also receives information from arcuate nucleus and other hypothalamic region and contribute to the sensation of fullness. So when energy stores are adequate, activity in this region increases, that leading to reduced hunger and termination of eating. It also influences energy expenditure by regulating metabolic rate. So these three regions work together as a coordinated network. The arcuate nucleus detects the body's internal energy signals, the lateral hypothalamus initiates desire to eat, and ventromedial hypothalamus promote satiety. Previously, I have pointed out ghrelin, leptin and pancreas under arcuate nucleus. So let's understand these terms first and then we will move ahead. So ghrelin is a hormone that released by stomach and it discovered by Masayasu Kojima in 1999. Ghrelin is the hormone who sends messages to hypothalamus about energy deficit. Then it activates hunger promoting neurons in lateral hypothalamus that increases motivation to eat. It also enhances activity in reward circuits and making food more appealing when energy is low. So you can identify when you are too hungry, food can appeal you much. So these things happen just because of this specific hormones that is ghrelin. and leptin identified in 1994 by Jeffrey Friedman and their colleague. And this specific substance, leptin, secreted by fat tissues and hypothalamus to suppress hunger and activate satiety pathway. So when fat stores are high, leptin reduces food intake, and when fat stores fall, leptin level also drop and individual feel hunger. And now pancreas. Pancreas releases insulin in response to rising blood sugar when we consume anything. And this insulin regulates glucose uptake by cell, and they are also sending signal to hypothalamus that energy is available. So when they are sending information to hypothalamus that energy is available, then there will be reduction of hunger. These hormones reach the brain through bloodstream, we all are aware, and they are integrated by hypothalamic circuit and regulate feeding. Now we will talk about role of neurotransmitters in hunger. Within the hypothalamus, hunger is controlled by highly specialized groups of neurons that respond when hormonal and nutrient signals coming from the body. Researcher Roger Guillemin and Andrew Sally told us that certain hypothalamic neurons release powerful appetite-regulating peptides. And there are two important peptides, and they told us that neuropeptide Y, in short we can say NPY, and agouti-related peptide, in short we can say AGRP, is important. These substances strongly stimulate eating by increasing activity in hunger-promoting circuits by reducing metabolic rate, which help conserve energy. And when energy levels are low and hormones such as ghrelin rise, then NPY and AGRP neurons become more active and producing intense hunger and food-seeking behavior. Few hypothalamic neurons releasing pro-opiomelanocortin, in short we call them POMC, and CART. CART is a neuropeptide protein, and their full form is cocaine and amphetamine regulated transcript. CART or CART got its name because cocaine and amphetamine increase CART level in the brain. So when a researcher gave those drugs to animals, CART or we can say CART gene activity went up. So they called it cocaine and amphetamine regulated transcript. These chemicals suppress appetite and promote feeling of fullness. When energy stores are sufficient and hormones such as leptin and insulin are high, POMC and CART neurons become more active. They inhibit hunger-promoting pathway and increase energy expenditure that helping to prevent overeating. So we can say NYP and AGRP increase hunger as well as POMC and CART decrease hunger. Beyond the hypothalamus, hunger is strongly influenced by the brain reward center. And when we talk about brain reward center, we have to take the name of one neurotransmitter, that is dopamine. So role of dopamine in food motivation was demonstrated by James Olds and Peter Milner in 1954 through their discovery of brain reward pathway. According to this study, dopamine will be released specifically in nucleus accumbens area if any individual consuming any food that is high in sugar and fat. So the release of dopamine in nucleus accumbens area increase the motivational value of food and making it more desirable and reinforcing eating behavior. So as a result, we can say eating is not only driven by energy need, but they are also driven by pleasure and reward. So whenever any individual consuming food that having higher fat and sugar, their brain area, we call them nucleus accumbens area, will release dopamine that also increasing the desire to consume food. So we can say food consumption is also connected to dopamine. According to researchers, serotonin also playing very important role in food-seeking behavior. Specifically, they are playing an important role in satiety and impulse control. So we can say higher serotonin activity in the brain promotes feeling of fullness and reduces the urge to continue eating. And we all are aware, serotonin also responsible for regulating mood. So whenever there will be changes in mood, there will be changes in appetite and food seeking behavior. So ultimately, we can say serotonin playing very important role in food seeking behavior, specifically higher serotonin activity in the brain promoting feeling of fullness. You know, there are few specific theories that can help us understand biology of hunger. Like number one, glucostatic theory, number 2 lipostatic theory, and third is set point theory. So let's understand all these in brief. First theory is glucostatic theory that proposed by Jean Muir in 1953. It states that hunger is regulated by fluctuations in blood glucose. Muir suggested that glucose-sensitive cell is hypothalamus monitor blood sugar level and trigger hunger when glucose falls. The pancreas, through secretion of insulin, play a key role in the system, in this particular system. As glucose level rise after eating, hunger decreases. As glucose fall, hunger increases. Second theory is lipostatic theory that is presented by Gordon Kennedy in 1953. It proposed that body fat stores regulate hunger through a circulating signals. This signal was later identified as leptin by Friedman. According to this particular theory, decreasing fat store lower leptin level, which increases hunger by activating appetite-promoting neuron in hypothalamus. Increasing fat store raise leptin level, that reducing hunger. Third is set point theory that came in 1970s and presented by Richard Casey and William Pauli. They proposed that the hypothalamus maintain body weight, and when weight drops below this range, hormonal changes trigger hunger and reduce metabolism. And when weight rises above that particular borderline, then appetite decreases. I hope you understood biological aspect of hunger, and now you can answer questions confidently. Remember, learning is not about having zero doubts. It's about clearing old ones and developing few new. But don't worry, if you develop curiosity or having doubt, let me know in comment box. We will meet again with that particular topic in next video. Be hungry for knowledge and let's make social media a tool of learning. Bye.